Greetings everyone, this is Mythical Daka bringing to you from my library, Magicka. Developed by Arrowhead Game Studios. It's available on Steam. And while its official designation might be action-adventure, it's probably best described as a wizard suicide simulator. Case in point, you play a wizard, as you can probably tell. This is just the basic costume. There are actually other costumes available, but I'll get into that later. Movement is accomplished Diablo style. You point and click. And you queue up different magic elements by pressing the Q, W, E, A, S, D, F, R keys. And the very first spell I ever cast in this game, I queued up Earth Magic and inadvertently pressed cast on self. Voila, I drop a rock on my head. Now, of course, that can be healed. But it's pretty easy to accidentally injure and or kill yourself in this game. There is a multiplayer component to it, and you'll be reviving each other a lot, I can assure you of that. There's no mana resource or anything like that. Basically, all you do is you queue up your different elements, and you either cast them on your target, or on your weapon, or an area of effect, or on yourself, or whatever, and you simply unleash it. And it's simply a matter of how fast can you re-queue new types of magic. And yes, as you probably noticed, you can be very cruel in this game and just go ahead and kill everybody. Apparently, they're protected. So in addition to killing all the monsters you encounter, you can also go ahead and kill most of the wizards and other friendly NPCs you come across. And there's a lot of moves. And Star Wars references. Pretty much because I can. It is one moment of hilarity after another. Filled with all manner of pop culture references. I actually played this with my brother during Extra Life 2013, and it was pretty funny.
Hey!
When you play single player, you get these little fairies with you, like Ocarina of Time, because that's obviously a shout out to Ocarina of Time. And if you die, they'll revive you as long as they haven't revived you too recently. You look like some sort of wizard. Yeah, you think? And these are the game's goblins. I generally find it's easier just to queue up fire and everything, and just burn everything in sight, which sometimes includes innocent bystanders, as you may have noticed. Oops. I never noticed this before.
Hej, lyssna! Om ni dörren så kan ni ge hattning.
Apparently, I got a new staff. Interesting. Now let's just roll with it. And more goblins who are getting eaten by spiders. Your mentor in this game is a guy named Vlad, who is not a vampire. least that's what he tells you. This is something that Mystery Squick and I are actually planning on playing for a possible multiplayer series. Hey, look, a base.
Seriously? Need to cast a rock around?
And you're boring me. Video game cruelty potential at its finest, people. Completely innocent guards, and you can just go ahead and light them on fire. It's hilarious.
Lyssna. Kan ni lova ni...
I guess this guy's the commander of the base. Captain Bjorn, the Brave.
Vi Baldersbolle! Skogsjäder!
Yeah, the NPCs generally speak Simlish. Setting stuff on fire and making it explode, always hilarious.
Sen kom je her blodjo?
Yep, you missed it. Sorry, I burned and blew everything up. I probably killed the captain myself and I didn't even realize it. It's that kind of game. There are a couple expansion packs for it. One of them is Magicka Vietnam. Yes, there is a Vietnam War expansion pack for this game. Because they figure, well, everyone's releasing a Vietnam expansion, so we may as well too. Now, I'm not kidding about this. Each chapter is actually named after a Star Wars movie. The first one is The Fancy Menace.
Guiding them through the perils of the world was the dashingly handsome
This is
Vlad.
Vlad, who is not a vampire, speaking.
As they approached Fornskoger Forest, it became clear.
And I believe
that there was
Fornskoger is
need
actually
for
Swedish
their
for
food.
forest or something like that, so it's forest. But I could be wrong. You can double check me on that. Here's Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. And here's Vlad, who is by no means a vampire.
Ye aldrig tes vatira taraka se de superlok. Vavaktir. Om nor forsti by pareba noom havindir. Bafiantarna neva sarfil venriga meva snabu. De bava fedra.
Yep, sure. I will get right on that. Hey, look, goblins. Yeah, if you just right-click, you'll automatically blow like an air spell out of your staff. Right-click is generally cast from your staff. Mouse 3 is cast on yourself. Shift right-click is area of effect. Apparently this dude ran into the goblins and died. And you can do stuff like this. Put together lightning and fire, and you'll have a lightning spell that makes things catch on fire. Fire also tends to cause panic in bad guys. Or good guys if you happen to be really bad at hitting the bad guys, or they happen to run in your way. You find these little books that give you specific spells. You cast those by queuing up the specific magics they require, and then pressing spacebar. I'm going nuts here. I don't even know what the heck I did. Oh, I have a goblin on me. That's what's going on. Let's see. You've got Q, which is water, W, which is life, which are healing spells, E, which is shield, which are protective, R, which is cold, A, which is lightning, S, which is arcane, D, which is earth, and F, which is fire. Now, some of them have opposites. You generally can't queue up ice and fire together. You can't queue up earth and lightning together. But generally, you can throw different combinations together. There's a couple other elements in there as well. You queue up, I believe it's R and Q, and you get ice. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah. And you queue up F and Q, and you get steam. S generally turns whatever you've got into a beam if you cast it through your staff. And different stuff like that. You have to play around with it to really find out what every combination does, and you'll usually end up hurting yourself and or others. My character was wet, so I cast a fire spell on myself to dry myself off. If your character is wet, you cannot queue up lightning, because you will hurt and probably kill yourself doing it. And again, video game cruelty potential. You can just go ahead and kill the villagers. Fire causes panic, because nobody likes being set on fire. Generally, the more of an element you cast, the stronger your spell is going to be with that element. This is obviously a red herring. Ha ha, ha ha. Graham's workshop. Yep. And here come more goblins, folks. Pirate goblins, no less. Some of these guys will carry big sacks of bombs. If you hit them with a fire spell, they explode. Usually taking out anything that's with them. And I'm probably gonna die here because I'm really getting ganged up on something fierce. Ouch. And here comes the bombs. Ouch. And I died. But here's my fairy to save me. And I died again. And that's game. So, things you have to be cognizant of. Don't blow up the goblin bomb carriers when they're right next to you. And this will probably just take me back to the next, last checkpoint. I think. If it ever gets me out of here. Is anything gonna happen here? My body just sank to the ground. Escape. Well, I guess I gotta restart. From all the way back here. Don't really care what Vlad has to say. by soaking wet. By casting water magic on you. Haha. By making them wet and casting lightning effects on them, the lightning effects will be stronger. Let's see if I can demonstrate that here. Lightning tends to be pretty powerful in general.
Lyssna! Jag tror att det är pinnågången.
I'm combining freezing with arcane, which is giving me a nice snare effect here. If I use as an AoE. Or just flat out freeze him if I turn to a beam spell. Which also makes him explode. Fun. Alright, so back to murdering everybody in town. Oops. Things that you can do to yourself. Back to murdering everybody in town here because it's fun. Pay attention what button you press. The fact is, people don't seem to really notice when you're trying to kill them.
Hej, lyssna! Kan ni lova ni remove it?
Yes, fairies also give you useless advice. And yes, there is a Warhammer there that you can pick up.
Det var vetter superbally. Ballonger and Jewel. You true the mal of get ma. What felba? Whack a crack? Better! Spradatary! Sprada for your river!
Yeah, what he said. Let's see if I can get through this. Kill it with fire.
Mm-hmm.
And that replaced my sword. And moving on. So that's the long and short of the game.
Framom fornskoker und under des däck vad dir stier.
It's
Viva.
simple to pick up, difficult to master, and you will probably die horribly numerous times along the way, especially if you play with a friend. You're going to need to memorize a revive spell because it's going to be your best friend.
Hambrad and Thor. Men, er der på Helki. Denna jedder, very scary.
And there's the "is that my wife" joke. So, yeah, beam spells are very slow to sweep.
Lyssna! Relax, Björn. Never know what it can happen.
That's a troll. Not easy to kill. Ouch. I believe there's an achievement for finding all the dead moose in the game. That's the haste spell. Moving on. Whee! Oh, no, not gonna let me do anything until I kill the rest of these goblins, probably, right? And burn and die. There we go. Now we can move on. Hey, look, it's Goblin Hood. So that's Magicka, people. You can find it on Steam for, I believe, $15. This is Mythical Daka, and I will see you next time.